All right. So Zaya, it seems. So tell me what about your gameplay has been like? Oh, I need coaching to get better. Is it like you're stuck at a certain rank
Ooh.
or?
Yeah, I'm pretty stuck at like Plat 3 right now. I can't improve up from there.
Any ideas as to like why that is, or is it just you have no idea? So
I want to say my decision making in more of like macro and kind of positioning in team fights, I feel like.
okay, okay. So you feel like your laning's fine, your fighting is fine, all that is good, but it's like, wait, what
Yeah,
do I do? Kind of
yeah.
a thing. Yeah, 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 I got you, I got you. So let's see in this laning phase. So real quick, if we look at this laning phase, I thought, okay, here. What sticks out to you? Like, what do you need to do to win this lane?
Um, well, it should be a pretty easy lane since I have Sona, and basically we're going against Lulu Vayne, I believe it was.
Morgana Vayne. Oh wait, what? You can't
Oh
see
yeah,
my screen.
oh yeah,
Hold up, hold
Morgana.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
did
can see.
not. Okay, yeah. Can you
Uh,
can you see my screen on Discord? Well, that's my bad. That's a
alrighty,
might be.
alrighty. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. So it was what is it? Zaya Sona versus Vayne Morgana, right?
yeah.
So how do you guys win this lane, so to speak?
Basically we want to poke out because they have no sustain really,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
think mostly I kind of want to push in. I feel like I'm not completely sure about this matchup against Vayne.
So
Yeah,
basically, you had the gist of it, right? Where you were like, oh, we have sustain, so we want to fight them, right? We want to take
yeah.
even trades and then sustain, and then they're like, oh shit, what do we do? And then you were right about pushing in, right? But are there
Hmm.
any dangers to pushing in?
Well, yeah, ganks and
Oh my god, that was disgusting.
uh sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now, man.
Right. Like you said, ganks and like Morgana bind or whatever, right? That
Yeah,
could be
yeah, yeah.
dangerous
Oh
for a
yeah, yeah.
gank. But if you have flash, then you're good to go, right? Flash and full HP means you're good to go.
Yes.
You actually want this guy to gank you. He actually can't even gank you. He's Master Yi, right? So
Yep.
that is almost non-existent. So yeah, you do want to push him in. And
Yeah, I
then it's
totally.
like, does this change at level 6, right? Does any of this change at level 6?
For Master Yi, yeah, at level 6 it does. And then for Morgana Vayne, I feel like we still win the matchup because we have I mean, if Sona lands her stun and if I follow up with my ult, I think we should be able to one-shot Vayne or Morgana. If
Right. But it is a more like it's less of a free lane. You know what I'm saying? So you got to
yeah,
be
yeah,
more careful. Is kind of the idea, I guess. Since you guys have like built-in sustain, that means you have something missing, right? Something's weaker.
yeah.
It's like their all in is stronger at level 6, so you got to be careful of that. Unless you like land some
Alrighty.
alt E flash combo or something like that. Even then, you probably
Yeah.
lose. Okay, so yeah, all in is stronger. Sona's gonna die. Wow, Sona did not in fact die, and that is
Oh,
awkward.
sorry,
Okay,
sorry.
hold on. Let's back it up. Let's back it up. What's going on here?
Yeah, yeah. So
So,
I flashed in the wrong way. I flashed a little too far. If I flashed, see, watch how I flash. I think I flashed too far right here. Cause she goes over. Yeah, I flashed too far right there.
well, you didn't have to flash, right? Can you just?
Yeah.
Isn't this a root? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah.
just like a. I don't think we want to worry about that just yet, but like the
Yeah.
kind of the way to like prevent stuff like that is like make sure. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. So this is actually pretty bad, but oh my god, you killed this guy. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. Anyways, the way to prevent like mechanical errors like that is to make
Yeah.
sure that every play you make is clean, right? So like
Mhm.
without a doubt in your mind, your E is going to or your E flash is going to root because every time you mess it up, especially in the preseason, it's like you're gonna die without flash, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The next time it comes out, like if you didn't get that Morgana kill, you guys are gonna be in trouble for sure. You guys got like a random kill and no one has flash. Does this lane change?
We used ignite, so I feel like if we just poke them out slowly and yeah, yeah.
And you have no flash, so usually that means you want to be right. And
Mhm.
you have no flash. Maybe you're like, oh, we should play a little bit more conservative. So that
Yeah.
was really good. Good trades, good trades. So yeah, you're right. I think your laning phase is pretty good. Yep, you're just pushing them in. Do. One thing I will say is that be rotation of
Okay.
abilities, but
So saving mana basically is what I need to work on too, right?
No. This is good. So far, so good. But I'm just saying, if you use your Q here, you're not gonna have basically, right? No, having no mana means you can't do anything. I think you know that. So, like this right here, perfect example, right? So you know that this is the same along the same lines of what happened earlier for the exact purpose, right? So for a very specific purpose. So when you press W here, what's the purpose?
Yeah, that's a good point. There's no
Right.
purpose right here.
It's like it showed that there was an opportunity to do that, but that's not what you're looking for, right? You need to have a specific reason for everything, basically, right? And that really ties into your earlier kind of question where you're like, oh, what do I do? Well, maybe not question, but kind of concern about what do you do after the lane. Everything's like specific, right? So if you ever roam, you have a good enough, I would say. We don't have to worry about that. Your laning phase is great. Everything is all Gucci. Right, you want to clear this in base, right? Unless Master Yi is here, yeah, Master Yi is top.
Right there, because I thought she was gonna condemn me. So
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right now, you from climbing, so to
Yeah.
speak, right? So basing is good. Buying stuff. Okay, so one thing to note.
a dagger, right?
That's true. What's gonna win you more though? A
Pinks.
dagger or a pink ward? Yeah, exactly, right? So
Yeah.
basically their pressure, right? So say if you had pink wards on your bot side of the map, you already know you win 2v2, right? So
Really
they can't even
nice.
come out, they can't come out to lane, right? So
Yeah.
the only time they can come out to lane is when you show up in lane. So if you just never show up in lane, they have to stay at their tower, right? So say they make a mistake and show up to lane, you just hit them and then you win the trade and it's sustained, right? That was your plan all along. So so that's one thing you might want to consider. Actually, this guy's not level 6, so they don't have better all in. This guy just killed himself. They all look scary for a second, but it seemed like this guy's he's just smoking something good. Good kill there. So yeah, this is like right here. You guys like won the game if you don't throw, right? Do you guys win this?
Yeah, we don't catch up on this, so nothing. We got nothing on this.
No. As in like, do you win this game?
Oh no, not this game. We
Oh,
lose
that's not good. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely
yeah.
figure that out.
Yeah.
Right, because like from here on out, it should be like game over, right? Because you have an Azir, he got skill. You should be able to like do whatever you want, right? In this game. So here, okay, so we can talk about this. So what's the plan here? See, this is like super free. You guys doing dragon? What's your plan here?
Well, my plan right now.
A similar concept, right? They can literally do nothing to stop the dragon. So you don't need to go. So what are you looking for in this roam here?
I
I was like, oh, what are we looking for here?
Well, I saw him at so they were on dragon, and I saw him over there. If you look back over there.
Oh, he just like went into his jungle or something.
Yeah, to his blue. I think he was at his blue, and then he went to his wolves before I got there. I think he's pretty strong. Oh yeah,
He's just like gone. Yeah, I don't know, but it was a nice try, right? It was just like we're looking for something, which is the right thing to do. But here, what do you want to be doing now? Like, what's the next step here?
I should have probably froze right there, but
Hold on, what do you say freeze?
because I think Morg backed, so Vayne is stuck at tower, so I think the best possible outcome right there was to make her lose XP and more minions instead of further behind.
Okay, that is a viable strategy, I would say.
And then the other, like, it's kind of hard for me to make decisions because I was like, also like, oh, the tower's like pretty low, so like let me push in and try to at least get towers and try to roam because I think Azir was getting ganked a lot by Yi, and so I was like thinking if I get to mid and apply more pressure, then hold on
Wait.
1 second.
Hold up.
I think
you guys
we
win
lost.
this, right?
Yeah, we lost this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like the whole question at level 6 is like, do you guys who is this lane change? It does a little, right?
Yeah.
I think it's definitely not good, but it's not the end of the world, right? So
Yeah.
one thing that's like this ties into what we were talking about earlier, right? When we were like abilities are used for specific reasons. So another thing happened here where you use your E trying to catch something, right? But it was like needs to be clean, basically, is what's going on. So the way you want to do this is you need to target the person, like who you're targeting, Morgana, Vayne, or whatever, and then you have to E immediately, right? It wasn't like fast enough or something. I don't know, but basically you have to make sure that your your combos are clean, right? And Zaya is not an easy champion, but
Mhm.
if you ever want to not throw based on like how you're using your abilities, this is it, right? So when you press W for the tower, what does that mean?
That basically I don't have W for the next fight.
Right, so you can't fight at all, right? Everyone wants to
Yeah.
get out. You want to take this and run like hell, right? So
Okay.
it's like and then it was like, oh, they went on us and there was nothing we could have done. So that means you shouldn't have used your W on the tower, right? So by knowing the like how does this matchup change at level 6,
Yeah.
you would know that you shouldn't use your W. Honestly though, you guys still should have won this because you're so far ahead, right?
Mhm.
So the question is, oh, what should you have done here? And it's
It's kind of impossible right there
like
because
what did you miss here?
I missed my E right there. I could have
Right,
pulled.
exactly. So every ability has a specific function. If you have the idea to hit Vayne and you miss, that's an automatic loss, right? So
Yeah.
every time that happens, you want to be very careful about that, right? So let's say, for example, you did not use it. Your Sona dies.
Rooted by her ult right at the last second. But does that?
But
Yeah.
it's fine. Like I think the way you aimed it was fine, right? You were like, oh, we need to stop the Vayne. That's a-okay. Just
Yeah.
make sure that you don't use your abilities unless you know they're gonna land, right? Basically,
Yeah.
the only mistakes you made so far are like mechanical, right? Everything is good.
Mhm.
Like when to back, when to fight, all that stuff is Gucci. Okay, this is a lost cause. What's the plan here? You see this
Yi was chasing and he was really low. So right here I'm setting up. So he just used
perfect game so far, I think.
yeah.
But here it's like, oh, now we need to wait for our team.
Mid or top tower. I think I end up going mid. I don't remember. It's last wave, and then I think I head mid. I want to say, if I remember correctly.
So basically, when you're on the offense, right? When you have after you push in, you want to go get something, right? So here, you have like nothing to buy. So what could you have done instead? Like, straight
Yeah.
in, right?
Yeah.
Because no one can really stop you. So by not going, okay, yeah, you do end up going, right? So you can like
Yeah.
things you can do. You can run into their jungle. You can this Sona wouldn't be a result of what happens when you push in and go do something. It opens them up for like a mistake, right? They can do, right? So here you
Yeah.
just kill someone. You can even run into their jungle. There's nothing they can do. But basically, you wanna when you're winning like this, you wanna push your advantage, right? You wanna push and look for something, right? So kind of not having.
Going on in right there.
I think it's okay since you guys killed the jungler,
Mhm.
but don't worry about that. I would say. Right, so it's kind of the idea is that when you're winning, you want to push and then get something, right? Get the best thing you can get. So that's kind of the idea. What's the something
Yeah.
that you're gonna get next?
Dragon. It's
Right. You want to go get
yeah.
control.
Yeah.
You kind of need your team, so they're not here. But
Yeah.
right. So there are other things you can get besides just.
Because it gives me that extra range.
Sure.
That's why-
That's fine. That's fine.
But
You're also missing a certain item that we mentioned earlier too, right? So this item is gonna help
Oh,
you
yeah.
close out the game.
okay, so
Right? The pink words are gonna help you close out the game, right? It's kind of super awkward when people come out from that way and you guys have no idea. It's like Baron, for example. Okay, so 0 on spot, so you go mid, sure. In terms of like decision making stuff, it's like you need a serve your ultimate up. You have no flash, you should be fine. Okay, this is gonna be really awkward if Sona dies, and you need to not use your E, right? Unless you can
Yeah.
hit him 100%. So. Oh, so we saved our E, and then it's like we
Yeah.
missed everything, right? So it's kind of awkward,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah.
obviously, it's like not your first mistake was not yours, right? He missed his ult.
Should I just left her right there or what?
The idea is this is like basically a mechanics fight, right? You need to
Yeah.
land your stuff for this. But if you think you can't help him, you should just leave, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the map, right, the reason why we know we just want to push and go is because our Gnar needs to push, right? So
Yeah.
he can't really help us unless he like TP's in or something. I don't know. It seems kind of weird, right? You don't have your jungler either. You need to go. You need to get out of here. So it's like true that your support made the first mistake, but this is like all mechanical stuff, right? Make sure that every time you use an ability, it's for the exact purpose you want it to, right? So why do you ult?
That's a good question. I don't know why I ulted there.
Right. We need a reason, right? You say, oh, I
Yeah.
want to dodge Fiora Q, or oh, I need to generate feathers to make sure they can't chase me when I use my E or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Why do we use certain abilities, right? So if we had saved our Q here
Yeah.
instead of throwing it at him, you could have Q'd and ulted and then E'd and then run, right? Something like that, right? So Xayah is like mechanically challenging, but I think you can definitely do it, right? I've seen you do it. You just need to make sure that it's clean for
It's
all
hard
your
for me to,
plays.
yeah,
All
it's
your
hard
plays
for
are
me to
clean.
be consistent with it. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I'll be like really good and then I won't. And then another question is, did you say I needed to work on CSing or?
It's like I feel like you are missing CS, but I think it's only because you've died 3 times, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's okay. Don't worry about that. It's just that in terms of what you're doing, this is kind of like what you do with your time, right, on the map. And there are several things you can do, right? You can go help the team, you can farm, you can split, you can like go ward, whatever. You need to be doing something productive with your time, right? So in this
Yeah.
case, is this productive?
No, I should have just been pushing lane.
Exactly, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not gonna get there in time, right? So you need to get the tower. Right? This fight's gonna be so fucking long.
Yeah.
You're just not gonna. It's like, okay, so say you do kill them, and then what? It's like, oh wait, we pushed top, but people have already spawned because this fight is so goddamn long, right? So it's like, by the time
Yeah.
you get here, this fight is already over. You need to be doing something productive, right? So you miss another 7 minions.
See,
over
like,
here.
like I understand that, and like I understand like what I need to be doing like macro wise sometimes, but it's like when my team starts like dying a lot, like I start to panic kind of. I feel like, or like when they start getting caught like that, because I think at least 5 times already they've been caught.
So I guess it's like, your team does something that you didn't want to do / you didn't know was gonna happen. It's like, oh wait, should I help them, right?
Yeah.
I think the kind of idea behind that is, you should already have an idea of what you want to do if that happens, right? So say if they start randomly fighting top, I'm gonna push all the way to the tower. That was my mindset when I saw that. I was like, oh, we just push all the way, right? Just go get that tower. That fight is way too far away for you to do anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, when this happens, I do this, right? So this is kind of the same story here with your ability usage, but don't worry about that. I think. Do we?
Oh yeah.
How does this? I'm surprised you guys didn't just straight up die here. Wow, interesting. You guys definitely should have died there, right?
Yeah.
Morgana could have just walked. Morgana could have just like fucking walked with you guys, and then Zhonya'd when you pressed E, and then it was all over, right? So it's kind of awkward, but in this case, it's like you want to push, but make sure that you have a plan when this guy comes out, right? When people are missing, you need to check. You need to press tab and know where people are. Right?
Okay.
And vision will help with that, right? You need to put down words, right? Would you put down your pink word? I thought I saw you had 2, and then you're like put one down.
I think I put one down. Ooh, maybe. I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe over by Baron, over in the river, kind of, if you see it on the map.
Right. Well, wherever it is, just remember that you just need to have a useful pink word, right? So similar to the idea that whatever you do with your time, you need to be productive with it. Same with vision. It doesn't matter where your ward is as long as you're productive with it, right? So whoever's ward is at that dragon pit right now is not being useful. It needs to move to where you guys are rotating. So I think this is okay. Sure, you can use your ult to kill this guy. Sure, I think it's fine.
Should just queued and autoed, but yeah,
It's okay. It's okay.
I see I see my mechanical mistakes kind of now. Like I didn't think there was any issues, but now I see.
Yeah, this champion is like not easy to play, right?
Yeah.
So there's like leeway to how many mistakes you can make, but I think there are a lot of them, right? There are a lot of good plays and a lot of bad plays, so it's kind of like 50-50.
Yeah.
Wow, what's going on here? How did Azir die? I think he just randomly died. Alright, this is awkward, right? They could have just gone on you here. For example, when you use your W, it's like now they can fight, right? And it's like, oh, what can you guys do? Not much. So I think we need to see more, but this is kind of awkward in that after the laning phase, what have we accomplished, right?
Not much, really.
Yeah, not much.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? Oh, you need to help this fight. Hold up, what's going on?
Yeah. So.
Okay, so this is awkward. I think you guys are gonna lose this for sure.
Yeah, I think we lose this one for sure.
Right. Okay, so what happened here? What happened here? What was our issue here? I would say. So
So
you're
what's
right.
going
This is a lot of
through my mind right now is if I go right with Gnar and Sona, like right behind them, let's say, I see Fiora over there, and honestly, like I was thinking, like I don't want to be flanked by a Fiora right now because I can. She's really, I think she's really strong right now. I don't know what her KDA is right now, but I end up thinking that like, oh, like I'm gonna be pressured from a flank, so I didn't want to go with the team right there. And I should have, honestly, I should have, but I was just more of like in a panic mode right now.
interesting. So the right play here is like you said, you need to hit these guys, right? You need to fight with your team. The reason being is that why? Okay, so you're afraid of like a Fiora flank, but how does Fiora kill you, right?
Yeah.
She has to walk up to you and start hitting her, right? So you can you just like hit her. I don't know. Like, okay, when are you scared of Fiora? At what point of the game should you be scared of Fiora?
Well, late game, but
Exactly. So are we at that point yet?
I think the Gnar's like 1-6 right now, so she's pretty far ahead right now.
She's really strong, but it's like
Yeah.
not like game over strong. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're afraid of the Fiora, then you come up with a plan to beat her, so to speak. Like, what is your plan when she comes over, right?
Well, yeah, if I didn't waste ult there, and I also was thinking that I didn't have my flash.
Oh my god, look at this! Look how strong you are too, right? Like
Yeah.
this Fiora, you have nothing to fear from Fiora. Basically, if you land your E, you win, right? So say you're scared of her, and you say, oh, I need my W to win, right? So use W in the first fight, and then you kite her until you have your W back, or you say, I don't use W, and I'm gonna use W the instant she shows up, right? So you have like kind of options. You don't have to be. Basically, the only people you have to be afraid of are the people where you have no options, I guess, right? There's like literally nothing you can do. Against Fiora, there's like a lot of things you can do, right? I'll play her parry, and you're good to go, right? And then if she tries to proc stacks on you, look at this. You have nothing to fear from this guy, right?
Yeah.
The only thing you have to fear is like when she's scaled up and you just like 3-shots you or something. Even then, I think you can, Zaya can beat Fiora, right? In the late games, like 6 item, I'm pretty sure you can do it, right? You press W and you kite super hard and you alter auto attack, you win, right? So there's nothing really to be afraid of, I guess. You kind of cleaned up at the end, which is good. I think a lot of what we need to look at again is the mid game, right? Kind of what do we do?
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
you guys get a Baron. That's good, right? This should be a Baron. You need to hit the Baron, basically. Unless there's an immediate threat, right? So you hit the Baron until she gets into jump range almost. That's when you start being worried about Katarina.
Alright.
So as an AD carry, you are right that if this is like a Kennen or a Katarina or something that can threaten you, you like back off and you don't hit the Baron. But if they're not threatening you yet, you need to hit the Baron, right? So
Yeah.
oh, okay, wait, she's Anya. Wait, okay, it's fine. I don't know what's going on here, but you guys should just run train on their mid lane, right? So you just fucking kill this guy. That was really bad, but okay, interesting. I think it'll be okay. Wow, you guys caught up. Okay, good. You can just kill this guy. Okay, yeah. So right. So it's like you just need to kill this guy, right? Oh, this is okay. That's not gonna land.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all like kind of fighting issues too, but this is kind of it's like you have to know when they can kill you. Basically, I think is what's going on here, right? So like at the bottom tower, level 6, you weren't really sure that how the level 6 changed, right? But you should have known that in a Vayne Morgana lane, their level 6 is better than Sona's, for example, right? If Morgana black shields and then Vayne goes invisible and shit and whatever. So it's kind of the same thing with a lot of this game with Fiora kind of specifically, but it's like this guy cannot kill you. Right, it's literally impossible for him. So you just need to run forward here. If you know you can't lose a fight, you should run forward. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense. If you don't know if you can win a fight, you kite backwards like you were doing, right? You're
Yeah.
playing super safe, which is good. But sometimes you need to hit people, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on here? So you're pushing. Your team is like doing something. Everyone's dying. I don't know what's going on. Okay, hold on. Let's back it up. So you guys chase Fiora. Okay. So what's wrong with this issue here? After we do this,
We should have probably just pushed mid.
right. And why is that?
Well, we have a wave crashing into the tower, so we probably could have gotten the tower and pushed.
All right, you want to get objectives and not kills, right? It's like
Yeah.
you are never gonna catch up to this guy. You're depending on Nar and like someone else to catch up to this guy to cut him off or something. It's just like you need to get towers basically, and then like your team ends up like dying because you guys are chasing, right? So it's kind of don't chase. I think
Yeah.
is kind of the basically ask yourself what's the best thing you can get at any given moment, right? And then play accordingly, right? So this is kind of awkward, right? So how do we
Yeah.
lose against this Fiora?
How do I lose against her? Well, I used my E right there, so
Right.
or my Q.
You missed your E, right? So it was like
Yeah.
you basically had nothing to fight her with, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, if you have nothing, you should be afraid, but you'll usually have everything up. So it's kind of awkward. You're right. There are like decisional making things that we can work on, right?
Yeah.
So I think okay, once we finish this replay, we'll go back and watch all the mid game stuff, and then we'll discuss like how do we make sure that whatever we're doing is always right, right?
Yeah.
Wow, this is awkward. What happened here?
So I got parried right there.
Oh
got
my
stuck.
god, by the Skarner.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, that's really unlucky. And this Katarina actually came out of nowhere. I want to see where she came from. What the hell?
Where did she come? I don't know where she came from.
She fell like over the wall or something? Yeah, okay, that was like really unlucky. Don't worry about that, right? This is not something we worry about. It's all the stuff earlier that we worry about, right?
Yeah.
If you rewatch this stuff, it's all like team fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, here we go. What's going on here? Okay, you don't win against Vayne anymore. Ah, she's half health, so maybe you do. This guy's killing himself. What the hell? Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, here's an example.
Tower probably, right?
I don't think
Well,
I honestly don't think you can get a tower, but you can get something that isn't base, right?
oh yeah, I could push probably mid in, right? Or the
Right,
dragon.
right. So
I
six
just-
minions is never bad, right? So you can get
Yeah.
you can get farm side, right? When you guys should have gotten it all. And then you guys are pushing mid. Okay, this is doable, right? Just make sure that you don't get one shot by their Katarina, Master Yi, Fiora, Vayne, right? You guys just sit mid. How do you guys lose this? Someone probably gets caught and then sets off reset chain. But I think as long as we're not making major mistakes, we're happy, right?
Mhm.
So sure, Master Yi dies. You guys are chasing. Sure, this is a 4v5. You should win this. If someone gets reset on, you're all gonna lose. Okay, you're gonna die, aren't you? Oh, you're okay. Katarina did
Oh, I
not.
think
Oh, this is awkward. Oh, okay. Now you're gonna be in trouble here. You can get his Guardian Angel. Oh, you can kill him with your W.
yeah.
Yeah, you can kill him with your W. But you got Vayne too to
Oh,
deal
she
with.
flashed. Yeah, she flashed. Right
Okay, so okay, this is really awkward. All right, so in team fights, you want to. What's your mindset in team fights? I guess.
Well, right there it was kind of scattered, so I was like, I was trying to focus whatever was in front of me, basically. And then Morg popped ult, and then Zonia, so I was like, oh shit, like I need to get back because Katarina can kill me because I was really low. And then I tried to make a ballsy play right there by trying to kill Vayne.
Make a play that isn't gonna work, right? If that makes any sense. So that's
There,
oh
like that you saw.
at the late game team fight,
Yeah.
the last fight. All right, so you guys got a free pick, right? So it was like, oh, you guys want to take a fight immediately, right? So everything's good. You hit the closest target, you're gonna win because they have no tank. And then it's like, oh, we need to back out. Sure, okay, fine. Get hit by the stun because you're at the end of the range. Hit the closest guy, right?
Yeah.
So if we're not hitting the closest guy, we're doing something wrong. Okay, so we didn't hit the closest guy, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue, is that you hit the closest guy and you play safe until you can see the play in your head, right? Until you can see an alternative play, which is your flash E, right? And then you say,
Yeah.
is this play guaranteed, right? Or is it like pretty much guaranteed. So when I say pretty much guaranteed, it's like, oh, they don't have the reaction time to dodge it. Like, for example, you're sitting in a bush and they're playing Morgana. So usually Morgana can black shield. Okay, so say you're playing Ashe and you're sitting in a bush, right? So usually if Morgana can see the arrow, she's going to black shield herself, right? But if you arrow her from out of vision, she's not going to react in time. Like, if you do that to any pro player, oftentimes, more often than not, they're not going to be able to shield themselves in time, right? Unless they're expecting it. So that's kind of an example of quote-unquote guaranteed, right? There's nothing they can do to stop it, right? So when you make this Flash E, that's guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
Except that you didn't have the damage and you didn't have the angle, right? So the idea is good, but like the execution wasn't close, right? So the execution has to work 9 times out of 10. Because every time it doesn't work, it's like kind of a throw, right? There were too many times that happened in this game, I would say. So here, if you just hit the closest guy, you would have won, right?
Yeah.
Your W is on. You can kill this Vayne. In fact, flashing for this Vayne would be 100%, for example, right? With 100% crit, this guy's dead in one more auto attack, right? So auto attack, flash, auto attack, heal, hit the Katarina, you win, right? So that's kind of an example of a play someone might see. If you have no idea, you just hit the closest guy and you play safe, right? You kite backwards. If you have no idea, right? So say down at the Fiora in the bush, you had no idea, that's fine, honestly. If you had no idea and then you watch it later and you say, oh, okay, we can win because it's 3-on-1, then it's okay, right? But if you do have an idea, then you make your play, right?
So if I do kill Katarina right there, like how would I make that like a clean like execution on Vayne and Morgana?
For this guy?
Yeah, so you said I would focus Katarina right there, right?
You just hit the closest guy. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay.
So you're still stunned here, and then it's like, oh, she's Zanya, so you're hitting Vayne. You were hitting Vayne here, right? So you can hit Fiora, you can hit Vayne. It doesn't matter who you hit because they have no tank, right? And you kill anyone. So if you had done anything but like waste your flash, I think it would have been really good, right? Because this Azir kind of needs help, but he's like 1v3ing or something, right? So basically, you just need to fight clean, if that makes any sense. Because there were a lot of times when you like outplay them, right? And then there were a lot of times where you goofed up, and it was like kind of a throw, right? So I think that's like one thing you can work on. But if we want to talk about the decision making stuff, right? After the tower, okay, wait, hold on, what's going on? After the tower, your team got caught or tried to take a really bad fight. There's nothing you could do. Sure, you get a free kill. This is really good, right? So this is an example of you. This is 100% clean. Like no one could have done this better, right? If you're killing Master Yi, right? Sure, maybe you could have gotten more, but your goal is to kill Master Yi. No one could have done this better, right? That was perfect, right? That's what we want every time. And then we want to push. We want to go get the best thing we can get. Sure. What's the best thing you can get? You roam mid, right? This is good. This is good. And then here is kind of awkward, right? Be careful when you press W, right? Because that means you're hitting the tower and you're not fighting with it, right? So every time you press W, you don't want to fight, right? So we're kind of fighting without it. So you should be more careful. Dying here is like, I think it's okay. I think you could have done it without dying, but whatever. Sure, you go bot. This is okay, right? This is what I would have done, right? You go bot. You clear this. You push one more, right? You should push another wave, right? And not base. You need pink wards, right? So you could have pushed this and gone to dragon, for example, and then it would have been a clean dragon. But I think you guys get it anyways. It's like, I feel like a lot of the game was really mechanics too. Honestly, this is like there were like a lot of random fights. Okay, here we can talk about this one. So once you clear this, you want to push another wave, right? But the first thing you need to do when you want to do something, basically the first thing you do is check the map, right? How many people can gank me? Basically, is what you need to ask yourself. So you say 5 people are alive, 1 person is on the map. How many people can gank you?
Yeah. So there's only like 4 people.
Right. 4 people can gank you, right? So how many people do you have right now? You have like 3 people if you include Skarner. So you need to be careful when you do this, right? So they could have all just came out of this bush right here, right? That's very common. in solo queue. Everyone's just fucking sitting in this bush of the pink ward, and then they just all come. Yeah, they just all come out. This could have been. There could have been more people. Vayne came out of somewhere else, and then Yi came out of somewhere else, right? But they all could have been in that bush. So that's kind of like the question you have to ask yourself, right? So you say, oh, if you do this, what is their engage, right? So what is their engage? You need to ask yourself, what's their engage? What's their engage?
Well, Katarina, I think. Fiora, would Fiora be an engage, really, or no?
So when I say engage, it's really we're asking what threatens us, right? So if this is 60 minutes in, Fiora walking in is an engage because that is gonna two-shot us, right? But if it's 6 minutes in, Fiora walking in doesn't do anything, so that's not an engage. So engage is like the obvious ones, like Ornn ultimate, right? How many times have you been hit by that shit? It's so stupid, right? Like Malphite ultimate, right? Any of those are very obvious. In these cases, when it gets late, Master Yi is gonna be a threat, right? Vayne from the side is gonna be a threat. Katarina is gonna be a threat. For the most part, before any of that is gonna be Morgana, right? Because she has CC. So you say, oh, okay, where's Morgana? Morgana's bot. Okay, so what's the worst that could happen? Katarina engages on us, right? She's gonna go on Sona. What's the plan for when Katarina does this? What is our plan?
My plan should have been probably, if I was thinking ahead, I would have known she would have jumped back to Sona, and I could have killed her.
So the thing is that when you do this, you need to have a plan for when they come out, because it shows up to stop Gnar, right? That's possible too. How many minions are you gonna lose? You're not gonna lose that many minions, if any at all, right? You can just stand here, in fact, and last hit minions. And how do they engage you then? They have to walk up all the way, and then you run to your tower, right? So it's kind of right. That was my thought when I saw this was unwarded, right? I was like, they could all be right here, focused, right? Early game, mid game focused. Even 6 item, you're really strong, but you're stronger to do anything, right? So
I think like mostly my decision making, it becomes really bad is when I'm tilted, because you can see me.
We like don't really think as much as we should, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the issue.
I can map that out in my head, but like right there, I couldn't even map it out because I felt like I was kind of tilted already.
I feel you, man. I feel you. It's like, oh shit, I died 3 times. This bullshit. Come on, dude. Right? Every time I see Katarina, I get tilted. But the one thing that's been helping me is I'm just like, I'm gonna pretend I'm a robot with no feelings, and I'm just gonna do the best logical thing possible, no matter what happens. Right? That's kind of how what I've been practicing the last few days when I'm tilted. Or I just take a break. But like here, we already discussed this, but it's like when you see this happen, if you are not within 1 lane's distance, you cannot get there in time, right? So what is this? This is a 3v5. You're not gonna win this. They're all dead. So that means you go push bot and you get the tower, right? And then you say, oh, how many people are here? There are 3 people. So who's missing? Master Yi and Morgana. Okay, can you win against Master Yi and Morgana as Vayne Sona? I mean, as Xayah Sona.
Yeah, we should, as long as I land my E on E.
Right. So
hold
perfect. Right. So what's the plan when they come out? Press W, hit the closest guy, and then when they commit, you're gonna throw feathers, ult, and E. Right. That's the idea, and then you're gonna win. So that means you could have gotten this tower, right? And then say you got a tower and they killed your team. Well, you got a shit ton of farms, and you guys got objectives, so it's like it's good. And this is actually like they're actually killing people. Azir is killing people, so it's even better, right? Not only are you guys not only would you get super strong so that you can solo carry, your scaling mid laner got a kill too, right? So it's like you should basically just should have pushed bot, right? But this is also the same thing as 3 minutes ago, which is what did you want to hear? You wanted to push mid. Can they stop you? Or if you were them, how would you stop yourself? Right? And then it's like, oh, they come out here, right? So then it's like, oh, what are you gonna do when they come out? No plan. Okay, then you can't come out, right? So there's no way out here. Even though you guys got away, you guys should be 100% dead. If there's no way out, then you don't go out. You can't go out, right? So what's the idea here? Oh, maybe you should wear this side, or oh, we should go out when we have our ultimate, or oh, we're gonna turn on Morgana the instant she comes out, right? Those are like kind of ideas of plans you could come up with, right?
So it's more of like thinking ahead is what I should be doing.
Right. It's very obvious what you want. You want to go to that. You want to go to that lane with farm. You're gonna take all that shit. You're gonna run in the river, or you're gonna push it out and you're gonna go right. So what are they gonna do? Oh, they see you show up. They're gonna hide in the bush beforehand, right? And they're gonna ult you or when you face check, something like that, right? We've all seen it, right? So especially with Kha'Zix and like Rengar and all these assassins, how many times have you gone to a side lane and they're already there before you are, right? They know what you want. So now you have to figure out what they want too. Right, and then all of a sudden you can't lose, right? If you outthink them, you will put yourself in a situation where you cannot lose, right? And then it's like, oh, there's nothing they could have done, and you're good to go. So yeah.
So I need to work on like holding like my abilities too, right?
Right, that too.
Yeah.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But
Okay.
the first part is make sure that you know what you want at any given time, and I think you do, right? You're like, oh, I want to push this lane, I want to push this out, I want to run in the river. It was very rare when you walked back and forth, right, where you didn't really know what you want to do. The next step is ask yourself, if I were them, how would I stop me, right? So when you wanted that tower bot, how are they gonna stop you? They're gonna engage on you. It was very obvious, right? If we bot review, you show this to all your friends, they're like, it's very obvious what they're gonna do. They're gonna try and hit you, right? When you hit the tower. So what's your plan when they hit you? You have to have a plan. So you say, oh, I'm gonna press W, hit back, right? Then don't use W on the tower, right? So you need to come up with something though. That's the thing. The kind of key thing here is the basic story is the same, no matter what rank you're at, right?
Yeah.
You play at the challenger level, it's still the same thing, except that the plans are different from like bronze level, right? You just need to make sure that you have a plan in the first place. Otherwise, you're just playing without knowing what to do, right? So here it's like, oh, we're gonna hit the closest guy. We're gonna walk in with our team. We win because they have some random ass reset comp, and Gnar goes in first, Skarner goes in first, we win, right? We're gonna poke first. You're gonna hit the closest guy, right? So the idea here is you want to hit the closest guy, and then you win, right?
Yeah.
And then make sure you don't use your abilities unless you have a very good reason to do so, right? So every time you waste W is like 1,000 damage on a champion, right? Right, like using W here is like 1,000, like you're no way to win. If it looks like there's no way to win this fight, it's because there isn't, because you have no W, right? So, and then it's like, oh, we definitely can't win if we use our ult here, right? I can't believe you actually get a bunch of guys here, but imagine if you had your ultimate and your W, you could have killed everyone, right? That's how, if you ever ask yourself, oh, how do these like high ranked players come into our ranks and just like smurf and get like 36 wins and 0 losses, right? This is like, they'll play, basically the plans they make will not lose, right? The plans they make are 90% right. So make sure that if you ever use your ultimate, you have a reason why. Okay, you want to use it for Yi? How does that stop Yi?
Yeah, so right there I probably shouldn't have used my ultimate, and that was like a mistake by me.
Alright, so when would you use it? Right after he uses his Q, right? On top of you.
Yeah.
So that's like targeting specific instances on when to use ult, right? Or let's say they're chasing, right? You got 4 people chasing, and you say, oh, we need to disengage, so I'm using my ult, right? Something like that. But you need to have a very specific reason to do it, because this is super close. I have no idea how you got away, but this is really cool. But it could have been a lot better, right? And then it's like, oh, we're gonna wait. How'd this guy get away? Oh, there's a TP.
Yeah.
Since it's Fiora, sure, I'll say it's fine to run away here.
And that's when we called Baron after she used TP. I think we go the head to Baron next.
That was good. That was a sick call.
She shows bot, so we all go.
Wait, that was actually really smart. That was really good. Yeah. Wait, they stole it?
Yeah, that's what I said. He stole it. He missed the smite.
All right, there's nothing you can do about that except what can you do about that?
I probably could have walked up and at least tried to CC Yi or something.
Right. What else?
Yeah.
What else can you do?
I don't know. It's a good
Have
question.
a pink ward so he can't see in the pit.
Yeah.
Look at this. He's gonna fucking hit the plant because they have a ward in it, right? There's a ward in it. That's why he can hit. That's why he can smite it. So if you like, that's how much power a pink ward can do.
Yeah.
You by yourself can deny all the Baron vision, right? Just one person. That's you. Same thing with Dragon, right? Same thing with any kill bush, right? You can literally get that shit yourself, and then you can win objectives for your team that way, right? I think that is another thing that we can mention is that pink wards will win the game more than items will, right?
Okay.
So say you can buy a longsword versus a pink ward. What's gonna win you a fight? the pink ward or the longsword. Sure, the longsword will win you a fight, like 1 out of 100 fights. But if you have a pink ward, it's gonna win you like way more, right?
Yeah.
And then don't worry about this, whatever. It's the same one, right?
Yeah.
Decision making stuff is like don't chase. That's like a basic one that you know for sure, right? This is a Nidalee, this is like a Singed, whatever. Top laner who you can't chase. It's like too fast. This dude's too fast. You can't do anything, right? So don't chase that, right? And that would have fixed that problem. Here it's like the problem was earlier. Don't worry about this, right? It was just like trying to help after the fact. Everything went wrong. Okay, so we got red. We're gonna go help this fight, and then this is bullshit. This kind of thing is rare, right? We don't. This doesn't usually happen to us, right? Fiora parries our teammates CC, and we kind of accidentally get screwed by that, right? I would worry about this the least out of everything we've seen, right? And then the rest is the same. This is all team fighting now, right? You're no longer having to make too many decisions in terms of where you go on the map. Right now, it's just all about how well can you fight with your abilities, right? So basically, it's about making sure you know exactly what you want with your Xayah abilities. Like this, you know exactly what you want. You want to hit Vayne once for 100% crit, and you're gonna walk away, right? This is a perfect example. The thing is, you need to do this with every ability. Is the issue here with your fighting, right? And it's like, it's kind of unfair because Xayah is super hard to play, right? So I'm not gonna say play something else if you really like playing Xayah because she's pretty good right now. But if you're struggling with like using your abilities, you need to go in the practice tool. Right? How often do you go in the practice tool?
The thing is, I play Vayne a lot, and basically, I think they took Vayne out of this game, so I was stuck with playing Xayah.
Yeah, we're gonna do this real quick, but oh god, which one is it? Well, we'll just take press the attack. Okay, so if you wanna, did you say you mostly play Vayne?
Yeah.
Okay, then this will matter a lot less. But basically, with any champion, if your mechanics aren't perfect, you need to go in the practice tool. Right, you need to make sure that you can pull off the combos. Like for example, you're playing Tristana and you like put your bomb on someone, and then you like jump in, and then you like don't get the bomb reset because you like didn't know how to play Tristana. Right, you don't know like her ult combo. Also, this is super fucking loud.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to basically practice your mechanics, right? So this could be Vayne, but what would be mechanics on Vayne, for example?
Condemn flash into wall.
Right. Condemn flash is the first thing that comes to mind. What else?
I'm trying to think. I can't quite remember. I think. Sorry, I'm blanking right now.
That's fine.
Else?
Vayne's not an obvious one to like figure out, right?
Oh, I was born.
Isn't it? Wait.
Feathers.
So would. Honestly, I can't think right now for some reason.
Any of your auto attack, we'll do Vayne next, but any of your like auto attack cancels, any of your going invisible and rolling away, any of that stuff. Yeah. You need because it's like hard to practice in game, right? Because it's Vayne. But if you go to the practice tool, it's like it makes a lot of sense. But the reason why we bring this up is because we need it needs to, when we say it needs to work 90% of the time, your plan, like this is how you make sure it works, right? So let's say how do I toggle minion fire? Okay, get rid of this shit. Okay, so say you had your E flash plan. When you go like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, how specific does it have to be? It has to be so specific that you know when exactly you want to flash, right? Do you want to flash right before the feathers get to you, or are you gonna flash immediately, right? There's a big difference, right? So let's say it was like, where is it? Vayne was like here, and your feathers were here. How do you get this guy?
Blood. He loves it when I do that.
When I flash towards the turret, right?
You gotta flash first, right? You basically almost have to flash first to hit this guy, right? And then it's like, oh, how do you hit this guy if your feathers are over here? You need a flash on top of him, right?
Yeah.
So say your plan is you're gonna hit this guy 3 times and then flash on top of this guy, right? Right, that's common for Xayah, right? But it needs to work 9 times out of 10 is the issue here.
Yeah.
So let's do Vayne actually, because I think this helps a lot less. Since you say you mostly play Vayne, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of funny because I've been playing a lot of Vayne too, so I need to do this as well. But basically, anytime you ever make a mechanical error, that's like something you can fix in the practice tool, right? You say, I actually usually you say every action you take needs to be with clear purpose, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I think that'll fix a lot of the gameplay because there was like a lot of random fights that kind of lost for no reason or won because you were really clean, right? And then for the decision making stuff, it's the basically you need to ask yourself what's the best thing you can get, right? And I think you were on the right track for the most part for most of the game, right? The only part of what's the best thing you can get, the only part of that you didn't consider is how can they stop you, because that was the only time you died, right? That was the only time you threw, is when they engaged on you and you had no clue, right? And then you died. So I think for your next 10 games, for the decision making part, you need to work on how can they stop me with engage. How can they engage on me, right? And then after that, you need to work on the mechanics part, right? So say we're playing Vayne, toggle menu spawn, toggle whatever this is. Sorry, dummy, right? You already know how to do all this.
Yeah.
Condemn flash, right? But then you also need to know like I didn't get to see you play Vayne, so honestly it's like kind of weird. But say you have this, you need to be able to roll invisible like perfectly too, right? Like all this stuff has to be perfect as well, right? Right. You already know what I'm talking about because you play Vayne, right? But basically, if you ever have an issue, right, you need to figure out what's going wrong, right? Especially like when you do stuff like proc your third attack in lane. How many times have you seen Vayne players do this and they have no idea how to play Vayne, right? That's like not the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that would make more sense, right? So if you ever have issues with that, definitely make sure you practice tool, right? It's a great tool. And then it's like what else? If you ever like want to figure out what is the best option and like I'm not around or like I have no clue, what you do is you go to Google and you're like type in would you rather see Vayne or Xayah? Vayne, I'm assuming, right?
It doesn't matter.
So you look up like
Xayah is fine. Actually, I'm starting to like her a lot too, so I'm trying to change my champion pool because I was only playing Vayne, but it's like I want to play more champions. I'm starting to like Jhin and Xayah.
Right. So basically, what you do is do you ever watch other people's replays?
Sometimes I do. I really like watching like Twitch. Like I like watching pros. I think Double Lift was just on. Yeah.
Right. So this I mean I watched Double Lift too. I'm just studying his replays. So let's see. He played Vayne. Yesterday, I think he played it yesterday or something.
Yeah, I think
Xayah.
he plays. Yeah.
But basically, you ask yourself, why do they do this or why do they do this, and you copy that, right? And you say, Double was put in the same situation where he was bot, and then there was a 5v3 top. What did he do? He pushed the bot tower, right? So now that's how you know. Oh, we want to push the tower, right? Actually, I think it was like yesterday's or something. But you get what I mean, right? But the way you watch it is, you say, put yourself in Doubler's shoes, and you say, if I were him right now, what would I do? Here we go. Here's a team fight, right? We can talk about this. So he's coming in from the team fight. If you were Doubler, what would you do here, right? You ask yourself, and you compare yourself to him every time, right?
Yeah.
It's like here, it's like, what is he doing? He's making sure that he's just trying to stop the Baron. He's not just trying to kill everyone. Okay, Baron stopped. He's kiting. Everything's Gucci. Now you just hit the closest target. And you're good to go, right? So
yeah,
it's pretty free, right? So make sure that if you watch replays, like pause and say, what would I do? And then watch it and then see what they do, right? And then you can kind of fix what's going on.
All right.
But yeah, for your like next 10, 20 games, you need to make sure that, once you've figured out what you want to do next, make sure that you know how they can stop you, right? And if they if they can stop you, like Morg flash ult, like we saw, say, do I have a plan against that, right? So say she does that, you're gonna say, I'm gonna W auto attack her for the move speed, and then ult, and then run away from her ulti or something like that, right? You have to have a plan in mind.
Yeah.
And if you can't come up with anything, then you can't push out, right? You can't go do the thing you want to do because then you get caught and you die, right? So make sure that
Okay.
you focus on the engage part for your like next however many solo queue games until it takes you to have 0 deaths by engage, right? That's what we're going for here is 0 deaths by engage.
Alrighty.
And then you can kind of review your plays and see where you go from there, right? See what's the kind of issue there. So, yeah,
Alrighty.
that's what I would say. Any questions, by the way?
Itemization too. Like, what build path should I go? Or
Okay, so in that game it was kind of weird, right?
yeah.
But it was this one, right? So against consistent damage dealers, what do you want to buy? After your core, you had like a essence, an IE, and a rapid, right? What do you want to buy? You could have bought a guardian angel against resets. You could have gotten a stopwatch to win a fight. You could have gotten armor boots because they have a Yi and a Vayne and a Fiora, right? Honestly, armor boots would have been really good here.
But yeah.
And then you could have gotten sustain, right? How do you beat champions who sustain? You buy sustain, right? And then you out sustain Master Yi hitting you, for example. So what's a good sustain item against this team?
I want to say I would have gone BT because I feel like, I mean, Merc you could have used for a few things, but I feel like I could position correctly if I had BT. Because the only
Yeah,
thing I could QSS is probably like a bind, and then maybe what else is there? Maybe a Morg ult. I don't see anything else. I could maybe a condemn too.
Right, I would not get a QSS, like you said.
Yeah.
For all the reasons you said, right? There are only like a few things, and you can avoid them, right? So
Yeah.
BT is good, right? I would have gotten a Death Stance, right? And then you can
Okay.
all of a sudden kill all these guys before they kill you, right? And then last item, it's like more damage, right? Or maybe you want to get Yi is a big problem, so maybe you get like a Randuin's or something. I don't know. But that's kind of how you can figure it out, right? If they have tanks and you're hitting the front line consistently, it's like, Last Whisper, right? You need a Dom.
Yeah.
Lord Doms, he's got 3 armor items. You need to buy Last Whisper, right? That's kind of how you figure it out. This Katarina's super aids. What do you need to buy? A Maw, right? You need to
Yeah.
get something. You need to get something, right? But if she's not a
Yeah.
problem, then it's like, Death Stance, right? Like for
Yeah.
this game, it'd be like, Jin Zed. Okay, maybe you need armor boots, right? So, if you ever die because he's doing too much damage with one rotation, you're like, I need armor boots. You probably wanted armor boots this game, right? This is kind of awkward. And then it's like Vayne builds are pretty standard, right? You kind of interesting that you wanted the QSS for the Sona, but I think that's like whatever.
Out of QSS for Teemo. Teemo's the problem.
That's true.
Yeah,
Teemo blinds, yeah, that's pretty aids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine too, right?
Yeah.
But basically, as long as you can reason it out, it's okay, right? The most important thing is to be useful in the game, right? Last preseason showed, you did not need an 80 carry to win, right? Did you see Ziggs bot?
Yeah,
You see that
yeah.
shit come up, right? As long as you're useful, it does not matter, right? As
Yeah.
long as you're useful. Same thing with like super Troy 80 carry picks that don't work, right? Like what's a really bad 80 carry right now? Like Jinx. A lot of Jinx players can't do shit with
Yeah.
Jinx right now because she's not that great, right? So not useful. You just need to be useful. It doesn't matter how. So if you say I need to buy QSS so I can fight Teemo, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
that's
you-
basically
I think he was the only problem because I was killing their whole team fine, but it's when I came to trying to kill Teemo, he would just blind me and he would fuck me.
So what about this one? What you see any issues with the build here?
I probably could have gone a third item, Merc, instead of I think I would have
What would you
Rapid
buy
fire.
Merc Treads for? What would you buy Mercurial for?
Cocoon, Riven Stun, Lux, Binding.
So in my opinion, you needed you don't need a Merc Treads unless you're like 1v5, right?
Yeah.
If you have to use it for Riven Stun, you're already kind of screwed, right? If your plan is I'm going to Merc Treads, QSS Riven Stun, that's like already super hard, right? We already have an issue there, right? And then it's like, QSS for release, okay, that's fine. And then it's like, QSS for bind. If you get hit by bind, you're already dying, right? So that's kind of awkward. And then kind of what's the most probable that's gonna happen in the fight? What's the most probable thing that's gonna happen in the fight? You're gonna die to Zed or Misfortune, right? Or Riven. damage. So you needed armor boots, right? Is what I would have gotten. 3 sources of physical damage with all lethality being built. You need armor, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would have done, right?
Mhm.
And then if you ever like kind of need to figure out what to get, you can always go on pro builds. Do you ever do pro builds?
I do sometimes, but usually like I don't know. I haven't been using build guides for a while now. Just been trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah, I
But
would highly
yeah.
recommend pro builds, right? Because this is what these guys think, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have some weight behind it, right? So okay, double lift build armor. Why'd you build armor double lift? And it's like, oh, he didn't like Draven or Kha'Zix, so he's gonna get armor. He's gonna get armor because this shit is stupid. And then it's like, oh, this guy didn't build armor. Cody-san didn't build armor. Why? Oh, he's same thing. Kha'Zix and Ezreal. But it looked like Ezreal was feeding. Kha'Zix super ahead. Oh, it looks like this guy lost. So it's like, oh, maybe it was a factor. I don't know. But
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, maybe you consider armor boots against Kha'Zix, right? That's what we learned. Maybe you consider armor boots against Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
Who knows? So yeah. If you ever have questions, this is always a good resource as well, right?
Yeah. All right.
Were there any like other build questions?
Not really.
But yeah, I think the most important one right now is like the core builds, right? So then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
pick your boots wisely. Usually it's gonna be armor boots in this meta, right? Against
Yeah.
like look at this. Every game I see like lethal. This is gonna be Pantheon with lethality, right? Look at this shit. And then
Yeah.
it's like in this game, you got a Xin and Caitlyn. Okay, maybe you don't need armor boots this game. But a lot of the games it'll be like, oh, how many lethality champions do they have? Look at this. You had 2 yourself, right? You had like a Wukong and a Pantheon, and the
Yeah.
enemy AD carry built armor boots, right? Like you should have. So it's like a good consideration to take in. So
Alrighty.
anything else before we call it a day?
I think that covers it all. I can't think of anything else.
Right. Just as long as you remember to just remember when you play your like next game, basically until you can no longer die to engage, you focus on that part of how can they stop you from getting what you want, right?
Alright.
And then if you need to work on something else besides that, because that doesn't happen every game, right? You'll think of it a lot, but like it's not constant, right? You need to think about your ability usage as well, right? Specific use for every ability, right? You need to target your Xayah W for when you're hitting champions that are gonna die, or when you hit the tower and then you're gonna run away, right? Specific, right? You say Vayne Q is used to dodge stuff, right? If you saw someone using Vayne Q to tumble into a Lucian, you're like, oh, what are you doing, dude? You need to use it to dodge his Q, right?
Yeah.
So specific instances of your abilities. That's after you figured out the how to stop their engage, right? Because that's what's gonna get you at any rank. Is say you're want to push out mid and then Ornn ults you. You're like, holy shit, this is stupid, right?
Yeah.
But if say you had like a QSS and you're playing Vayne, you're like, oh, Ornn ults me, I'm gonna QSS second part and then tumble out, and you're good to go. You won the team fight, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, figure that part out, and I think you'll see yourself winning a lot more, right? You destroyed the first like half of you destroyed like the laning phase. That was like super strong.
Yeah.
Now it's like after that, make sure you use your time wisely and don't get caught, because every time you get caught is a throw, right? It buys the other team time to catch up, so never a good thing. But yeah, let me know how that goes.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Yep, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Discord. I'm always on.
Alright, I will.
Cool. Mind if this goes on YouTube, by the way?
No, that's fine.
All right, I will send you the link when it is all good to go.
Alrighty, cool.
All right, let me know how your games go, and good luck.
Alright. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Alright, bye.